Do you think the free press today is the same as it was when it was first instituted?
No, it looks completely radically different. But it's been kind of buffeted one way and another by technology and by economics. And it's been driven by the internet, and it's been driven by social media, and now it's being driven by AI. The problem comes, I think, where the model means that in order to cut through, one thing that you can do is become more extreme in the views that you put out there. And suddenly you find that actually instead of this pleasing diversity of opinions, everybody respecting one another, this town square thing, you turn it on and it's just people monetizing people shouting at each other. And that's where civil discourse starts to break down.
What's the big picture look like for journalism today in America? Like, how does it affect us?
So it's changed radically, but then of course we've changed as well. Like what we want, how we consume things, right. Everything being funneled through your smartphone. So for years, it was funded by people buying stuff, like people physically buying a product, and the other part of it was advertising. Then all of that migrated online. Then we spent about 20 years as journalists and editors educating people that they could have content for free, because we thought the model must be to monetize content through reaching as many people as we possibly can. And that turned out probably to be a flawed idea. So now we're rapidly, desperately trying to teach people again that they need to pay for content. They're like, well, I can get loads of stuff for free. And that has significant repercussions for society. And across the US, you've got news deserts. So you've got 200 counties where there's no newspaper. You have these storied newspapers with this incredible history, that used to have hundreds of journalists on the payroll. And now, they're being managed by like one man and his dog.
So there's two words that get thrown around a lot these days, fake news. Oh. Is it different today?
There's so much trustworthy stuff, but the problem is that because you're served up everything on your smartphone in exactly the same context. So if you're going through on social media, something that is, kind of like complete misinformation is served up in the same context, the same format as something from a trusted source like the BBC or the New York Times or whatever it might be.
What would be the requirements for the articles within your publication?
What we aim to do is once every 3 months, you get this magazine through your door and you're like, yeah, great. I can't wait to find out about those stories that I heard the first bit about, because the rest of the news media were kind of on them non-stop for a few days. Find out what happened afterwards, after the dust settled. Those are the stories that tend not to get told because of this kind of like this need to drive on for the new, like keep, always new. Beginning of stories, but not the end. And I want to hear about a load of stories that the rest of the news media completely missed as well. And what we hope is that you come out at the end of it thinking that you understand how the world works a little bit better. And hopefully we've made you kind of laugh a bit along the way. All of these nice things. Yeah.
So this concept is slow journalism, taking the time to actually vet the sources to tell the whole and complete story. How is that working for individuals in an age of shorter attention spans and everything just being faster?
The faster and more overwhelming things get, that's a great marketing thing for us at the back end, saying, do you know what? You don't need to go crazy with all this stuff. Take your time. It's all right. If you miss stories, don't worry about it. We're going to come back to them. We've got your back. I think the big thing is people realizing, and I'm certain that it's happening, but on a very broad scale, that if you don't pay for journalism, you get bad journalism. Giving news organizations that you trust and that have proven themselves to be trustworthy over a long period of time of getting it right and then owning up when they get it wrong, giving them your money and your support is the number one thing that you ought to be doing.